going, y'all? It's DB Bray from the Ooh Wee Chronicles. And tonight will be Nia from Hood Delights podcast, and she'll be joining us shortly. Just a friendly reminder, my name is DB Bray. I'm a writer, ghostwriter, and a clothing line designer, among other things, and the content creator for the Ooh Wee Chronicles, which is it's an interview platform for folks that really just want to shine, and it's free. So hit up the link in my bio, and we will be able to tell you anything you need to know. Thank you. What's good?
Hey, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you just fine. Are you doing all
Oh,
right?
okay. Cool. Yeah.
All right, excellent. So, is this your first time on a interview live?
Yeah, I've never done an IG live. I've only watched like other people's lives. I've never done it. So I was like on Instagram. I was like, I don't know how this works.
Yeah, it's one of those anything can happen. If I buffer, keep talking. If you buffer, I'll wait.
Okay.
All right. Welcome
That
to
sounds good.
the Instagram Live, where my dog is now scratching at the door and marking up a door that needs to sell for a certain amount of money. Welcome to the Chronicles.
It'd be
Um,
like that.
so yeah, I was watching your latest listening to your latest podcast with the author that I forget their name, but they were writing about somebody that was a highly functional autistic person, which is pretty
Oh,
wild.
Mel Dow. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. I'm gonna tell my wife about it. Uh, it's a family thing, so I think she'll really enjoy that. So it was Meldaw.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely pick that up for her. So let's get started. So I must ask, the name of the podcast is Hood Delights Podcast,
Mhm.
and where does the name come from? I just, there's it's unique.
Well, I'm from New York, so when I decided that I wanted to do a podcast, I had my friend who actually did my logo. I was like, she's creative and like coming up with names. And like urban fiction has that, stigma of like hood love and stuff like that. And so she always gets a kick out of all the names that I tell her of the stories that I'm reading. So she gave me a list, and Hood Delights was the first one, and I liked it, and that's the one that I chose.
It's definitely catchy. Um,
I think so too.
but I think what may be a misnomer is that you are big on the romance side of the house. If you scan through your podcast, there's a lot of romance and uh,
Yeah.
sexy names. And I was thinking to
Mhm.
myself, I said, where does Blood and Whiskey fit? I'm scrolling, looking for because it's got a love scene in it. Not for very long.
Okay.
You can ask Val from Brown Sugar Reed. She'll tell you, ain't a bedtime story. Um,
Yeah, you said that it's kind of like
very graphic.
graphic.
Very graphic. But I have a young adult one that's probably way more up your alley, so I'll send you a copy of that.
Okay.
All right? Yeah, blood, guts, and gore is probably not your thing.
It depends on how. If I'm reading it and my anxiety spikes from how gruesome the scene is, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's not Saw, but somebody gets clipped from the
Mhm.
first page. So I mean, it
Oh
sets,
wow.
yeah, it sets the tone. It's where's my
Right.
money at, and
I know
and
that's right.
and it pops. So I don't have book reviewers on very often. I
Mhm.
have podcast content creators even less. I think you're one of the very first podcast creators, uh, or content creator, lack thereof. And talk about that podcast, what you're looking for in a writer, who you're looking to get a hold of, those type of things.
Well, I've been a reader for a long time, and sometimes like when I read a really good story, I want to talk about it. Like I want to know what it is that made you want to write the story. On my podcast, I always, I relate to them like they're real people, and I want to talk about them as such. I like authors, like they have like their Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that, where like readers can go in and like they'll ask questions. But I like wanted to have like a one-on-one. Cause
And
like
it
I've been,
works.
yeah, I think so. I was nervous at first because like podcasting is very saturated, and I was just like, well, what am I gonna do different? And like, I listen to a lot of podcasts, like, and they do like pop culture. I listen to sports ones, and I'm like, well, what am I gonna do? Like everybody else is covering everything else, so it took me like a year to figure out what it was I wanted to do.
Well, Bishan, the author, just showed up. The tag team duo of China, the writer, they're pretty damn good. So
Okay.
I'll send you their information. They're pretty fire right there. That is a dynamic team and individually. So yeah, there are a lot of writers that come on here that I think you've popped by once or twice. Um,
Mhm.
if you hear the laughing in the background, that's my wife. We'll continue. Uh, yeah, one time a bookshelf fell on her during live. These things happen.
I
It's the
over there getting lit.
it is the Chronicles. Um, so are you ready for your rapid fire ooh wee questions to get those out of the way, Nia?
Let's do it.
All right, we're gonna start off slow.
Okay.
Favorite flower?
A rose. I don't know.
White, yellow, red.
Red.
Red rose. Okay. Are you ready for him to get a little bit harder?
Yeah.
All right. Stuck on a deserted island, castaway style. Nia
Mhm.
from Hood Podcast Delights. You have three things you can take with you: your favorite book, and then you have to make the decision of toothbrush and toothpaste, or toothbrush and a third item.
And a third eye.
And a third item.
Oh.
Third eye. It's third eye blind on the ooh way.
So I have to give you my favorite book.
Favorite book?
Oh, that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say Ashley Antoinette's Epic series.
Okay. All right. Jaquavis was on here.
I saw that and I
Yeah.
missed it because I
Oh,
don't
you
know.
can you can go back to my IGTV and watch it.
Oh, I love them because I've read his books too.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a
Hmm.
fantastic team.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. So, is it toothpaste and a toothbrush, or is it the toothbrush and a third item, not a third eye, Nia?
Toothpaste and a toothbrush.
Toothpaste and toothbrush.
Yeah.
Ironically, you would need food.
I'll be alright. I can if I'm on a deserted island and it got fish, I'll probably have to like learn how to do that. And I'm a city girl, so I don't know how to do that, but I'm gonna learn.
I can't swim. I've never fished in my life,
Now
and
I'm
I'm
gonna
from
have to figure it
upstate.
out.
I'm from upstate New York. I ain't even from the city.
Oh, okay. I
So
went
you
to
from
school upstate.
you from Kirkland? Where you from?
White Plains, New York is right outside the city.
From Art Monkstown?
No.
You've never heard of Art Monk, one of the greatest Washington Redskin football players of all time?
No, never heard of
White Plains, New York.
him. Yeah.
Love him.
I'm gonna have to look him up and I don't know him.
You're gonna have to go back into the '80s. Yeah, probably long before you were born. So, if you were to go into a burning house, okay,
Never doing that.
never doing that. However,
Mm.
you have Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny that must be saved. Who's going and who's staying? Only one can go, though.
Santa. Santa. Yeah. Santa gonna have to burn up my bad
You're going ahead.
though.
You're going to have to get Santa. No one
Yeah,
ever saves the Easter Bunny ever.
because I make fire Easter baskets every year, so I'm gonna roll with that.
All right, bet.
Hmm.
All right, toughest question coming up. You're going up Mount Everest. You can take one friend and one item. What are you taking?
I'm going to take my director at my job if he does things like that. He will
Okay.
need to help me push through. And you said one item.
There are
My
man
phone.
there are man eating goats on this mountain, from what I understand.
Oh, a weapon for sure. I don't know if it's a gun and knife or something, but yeah. So,
Okay, all right. I would take China the writer
okay.
personally. She's very ingenious about how she does business. So, in your opinion, top three writers of all time.
Um, Sister Soldier because the coldest winter ever is the first book I've read. Um, I would say Keisha Irvin,
Another good one.
who I love. I've read all her books.
Hmm.
And then Wahida Clark because I've read the Thug series a million times.
So the let's digress, and you just said Miss Clark, who's the Queen of Street Lit.
Hmm.
Have you ever heard the line in the Thug series that the game ain't check? It damn sure ain't checkers. It's chess.
Hmm.
What does that mean to you in the podcasting world?
I would say like you gotta play your hand safe. Like it's a tough world out here. You gotta move smart.
Got to move smart.
Hmm.
Have you seen her YouTube channel lately?
I haven't, and every time like, cause I know she's doing a lot with the Thug series. I think she's doing like a documentary, and I'm just like, I don't want to get myself excited because I don't know when it's coming, so I don't watch it because then I'm like, well, if it's not coming for a year, then I don't want to get overly excited. So I'm just gonna wait until it drops. But every now and again, I'll tune into her street lit party that she does on
Hmm.
Instagram Live. Yeah,
Yeah,
they be rocking on there.
I write to it
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah,
Monday nights. Yeah, I write to the house music. Although I can't stand house, but she's got some awesome stuff. And if you were to, we don't love them hoes.
yeah. Mhm.
It's just something to do. That's what she said in the Thug
Yeah.
series. Do you pass the hoe to the left with the ooh or just the hoe?
Yeah, pasta.
And that's why I had to ask you. I saw all these writers on the podcast, and nowhere in there did I see any kind of gritty street lit. I saw a lot of romance, a lot of sensual type. Mental health was a big one. I'm bipolar myself, so
Mhm.
it was great to hear somebody say, it's kind of fucked up that you would say this about me and you don't even know me. You would just think that
Right.
I flip a switch while I'm walking down the street. I just feel like being manic.
Right.
It's not a choice. Like I don't wake up in the morning. That's why we have medication.
Yeah, that.
So, what's your thought on some of the stigmatisms, currently in society? Like, there are several out there uh, that some people in the African American community do not read. That just seems to be some kind of thing among white people. They seem to think that, the people I've talked to are just shocked. They're like, there are black women book clubs. Like, if, I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy because like I like growing up, I used to only read like urban fiction. Like that was the only thing. Like I used to get my books off Fordham Road and 125th Street back in the day, like Borders books, and I never really read anything
Orders.
else. And then, like the only thing that changed was my senior year in high school. We we read A Streetcar Named Desire, and I fell in love with old movies. I can't get enough of it. And then Twilight came, and this girl that I went to college with, she was like, "You should read." I was like, "I don't really read things like that. It's like not my style." I read it, fell in love with it, and like every now and again, I'll read something that's different. I read a few Nicholas Sparks books and loved it. Read Water for Elephants. Like it just depends. I gotta like be in the mood.
So, the one thing that, have you read A Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter, the African Canadian?
No,
Unbelievable.
I'm gonna have to. You're gonna have to DM me that then.
I will. Evan's awesome. I know Evan, but he is the first African Canadian ever to be nominated, or African anything to be nominated for the Nebula besides N.K. Jameson.
Oh, okay.
N.K. Jameson. Jameson. I don't know. George Martin screwed it up the other day, so that was awesome. I, I
It'd
just
be
sit
like
there.
that.
I was like, "Do you do research? Does somebody just paid to tell you these things? Isn't that like damage control?" So, in your opinion, where do you see the books going? Do you see paperback, digital, audio? What do you think is really taking off most?
I think digital. I'm not. I used to be a book in a hand type of girl, and I never thought that I would convert to getting a Kindle. But it's so easy to go and buy a book and download it and boom. I don't have to wait. Even though Amazon is fast, like I don't want to wait and order my book. Barnes and Nobles, they don't carry the books that I read anymore. They have a select few. So I'm a digital download type of girl. And if I like love the book enough, I would want a physical copy so I can go back and read the parts that I love.
Well, if you love Last Tribe, when I finally do put paperback out, it's digital right now. I will send one to your address, personalized.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. That's the young adult one you said, right?
It is. It's about two brothers that have to repaint the destroyed Constitution.
Nice.
Post-apocalyptic dystopian.
Okay, so when the world ends, if I read it, maybe I can get some tips on how to survive.
I'd be in a good mental place. It's still an adventure story, but it's sad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, um, and a big part of it takes place in New York City.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So like the Statue of Liberty is their own separate tribe. They're called the Statues. So they live on Statue of Liberty Island. And then one of the places they have to go is the New York Society Library. I don't know if you've ever
Okay.
had a chance to check out the New York Society Library where you're up there.
No.
Oh, you've got to go. It's in Manhattan.
Mm.
And it's all the books from back in the late 16th century, 17th century, the Thomas Jeffersons, the Washingtons, the Franklins, all of that stuff.
Okay.
The original manuscripts.
Hmm.
And it's the only city block that's left untouched after the war. That actual particular street that New York Society Library is on.
Well, maybe when New York dies down, maybe in like 2022, I can go check it out.
It'd be longer than that for me.
Yeah.
We're done there. So are you in the South now? Where are you
I
at?
live in Maryland, so I live in the DMV.
Oh, I'm in Virginia.
Where?
Throwing up the 757.
Okay, so what is that? Richmond?
Say what?
Is that Richmond?
No, my wife's from Richmond. That's from the 804. The
Oh, okay.
757 is Hampton, Newport News.
Okay.
I'm from the bad news.
The bad news.
The
Okay.
bad news. That's what they call it. Yeah.
No, I know. I just watched Michael Vick's 30 for 30.
Yeah, actually, I worked with a bunch of guys that, he lives down the street, actually.
Mm-hmm.
He owns
Yeah.
two houses just down the street from mine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, it kind of butts up to the hood, so,
Oh, maybe not so nice.
that's I'm in front of the hood, and then he's,
Mm-hmm.
to the left, so it ain't so bad. Still the same old gunshots,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. So, what is the perfect plot line to you?
I love a good when strangers meet story. I love a good alpha male. I like to spoon after a good male character. I like the female too. Um, yeah, that's like I love my book babies.
Yes,
Yeah.
I saw that on your. You dedicated the one that I listened to. To be honest with you, I'll get some information on a guest, and then just kind of do that live. The reason I almost didn't log on is I was still listening to your live or to your podcast.
Yeah, that one, my last one, was my longest episode and my deepest episode because I didn't know that she was gonna take it there. Like I let her steer that conversation. because I really loved her tagline, Pink and Bipolar, and that's how we went into her being bipolar and her, like, the whole stigma. Because I even said, like, I used to think that, like, depression and going
Yeah,
to
I mean,
therapy, like, you don't do that where I come from. Like, that's not. And so, yeah.
yeah, definitely. And I just kind of sat there and I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy that, I'm learning it from a different perspective.
And I did too,
Mhm.
because like how you said in the beginning, how she was saying, like, people think that people with bipolar are just manic and they just, you know. And to be honest, like, that's what I also thought. Cause you see, like, and I hate to use this person as an example, like Kanye West. You see that and you put that in a box, and you think that that's all that is, and it's not true.
Well,
And
that's just
so
crazy. You can blame the
that
bipolar disorder. You got a whole lot more in that cauldron of whatever the fuck that is.
yeah,
But yeah,
and
they
so
call it bipolar disorder, but that's a little bit
a little
more.
too much,
Maybe something more in there.
yeah. So like I learned a lot from talking to Mel, like a whole lot, like things that I didn't know. And I loved all my episodes, but that might be my favorite. Like the guy who mixes my episodes, the engineer, he never says anything about when he sends my episode back. Like, only let me know if I need to change anything. When he sent me that episode, he was like, "This is really, really good," and he never said anything about it. And I just thought that I was like, "Oh, I'm really must have like struck something," because it has to be weird for him to hear all that romance and like sex talk, listening back to the episode. So yeah, that was a change of pace.
If you're a writer, you need to listen to other writers talk about how to do a sex scene.
Yeah,
I mean, as a dude, let's be honest. I'm thinking totally different than a female mind.
true.
Most of the time. I won't put a cat, but most of the time, a single man is going to think about adult videos.
I could see that.
Okay, how it transpires. You'll see plot lines with a lot of dude writers. You're like, wow, this is like U-rated porno. Like, this is not. There's not romance in this. This is a sex scene. That's all this is. There isn't
Mhm.
sensuality. There isn't uh, human emotion. There isn't any of that in a lot of the writing I see.
Mhm.
So, what makes it different for you? What can you tell if a guy wrote a sex scene or not?
Yes.
It
I don't read a lot of from like urban fiction. Like it's been a while since I've read a book by Lake Harrington a couple of months back, and he killed that scene. I was like, ooh, because I
yeah.
always only read from women, and it was refreshing to get that point of view from a man. Like he killed that. It was different. I can tell there was a little bit a difference in how he wrote the male character than when a woman writes one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he did that, and I was like, oh, I have to read more from him.
Do you know any good LGBTQ plus writers, either black or white, that you enjoy reading?
No, but someone that I follow on Instagram had posted a book called Fernando, and it's the LGBTQ. I think she's transgender, so I was like, I put that on my wish list. So I'm probably gonna read this because it sounded good.
Okay, yeah, all right. And it
Yeah.
was by Fernando.
No, that's the name of the book. It's
Oh,
called
okay, good.
Fernando.
That's all I need.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and it sounded good, and I was like, oh, so
So with you, what is the perfect night at the end of a hard day? Book in hand, cup of coffee, tea. I love the wrap, by the way. That's awesome. Where did you get
up
that?
scale. Target it's Camp too.
Oh,
Mhm.
oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Mhm.
Very nice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So it
Back to the question.
depends. Probably a glass of red wine. If it's a Wednesday night, I'm probably listening to the Joe Budden podcast. I'll light a candle and just like relax, watch a good movie, a Netflix show. Sometimes I'll read. It just depends.
You have now made it to Perth, Australia.
Or what's that?
That's Red Ink Book Reviews from Perth, Australia. You are being watched
Oh,
on a
okay.
Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. in Perth. Good day, mate. You got to go back on the IGTV and see that interview with Red Ink Reviews. It is hilarious.
I have found that on your page.
Yeah, that's all. All my past interviews are on my IGTV live.
Okay.
So this would be sent to you, and then you can keep it, but then it'll always be on my IGTV, and then it'll go to YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're promoting that as well. So,
Nice.
you know, yeah, she had fun. It was awesome because I was like, so if you could touch a crocodile, would
Okay.
you? And she was like, is that a question? In fact,
Mm,
Val from Brown Sugar Reeds asked if you ever fought a kangaroo. I felt so terrible asking that.
no. And
No.
I was on a work deployment, and I was stationed in Guantanamo Bay on the military base, and there's a lot of iguanas. Them things will chase you. I don't know how many officers I done jumped on their back. Them things is fast. So it's like I am not at night, but if I was leaving to like go out, I would take a flashlight because them things just be chilling in the front of your house. I am so sorry. I don't live like this.
Guantanamo isn't known for its iguanas. It's known for its Al Qaeda members that are in prison.
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know about that. I just know about the banana rats and the iguanas. I don't know.
uh, so, for you, how you've been a lifelong reader,
Mhm.
and you named some of the greatest in street lit known to man.
Mhm.
For you, what other genres are you reading besides street lit?
I'll read a young adult book. I often frequent there at Target and Barnes and Noble just to, you know, get a fresh perspective on like what's new. But like any recommended read, but that's really just like my go-to. I like black romance and urban fiction. Like I've read like Twilight, I've read 50 Shades of Grey, I've read The Hunger Games. Like I'll read things like that. It just it just depends on the type of mood I'm in.
If there isn't a black character in the book, how does that make you feel as a reader?
Or it doesn't make me feel any type of way. In my next lifetime, I'm definitely dating a redhead for sure.
You're definitely what?
Dating a redhead. My next
Oh,
my
oh,
it's
that's
just
what
gonna
the
be like for
ginger
sure.
comment was.
Oh
I
yeah,
was,
I love a good ginger.
I was, I was lost. I
Oh yeah,
had to
definitely.
pause the podcast and go look it up. I was
Yeah,
like, is that
definitely.
some new age kid stuff with the gingery? I was like, I thought it was a cookie. I was like,
Oh
why
yeah,
is
no, no, no. I love me a good ginger. Hmm.
a good redhead? Okay.
Yeah.
I've got fading red in the beard. Used to be much brighter.
I
Do you,
used to think that my ancestors were um, Irish, but I might be wrong in that. It's like my
no,
last name is McCracken, so people are like, oh, so I'm like, oh yeah, I'm Irish. I got Irish in my family. And then,
and chances are that you probably have Irish
probably
ancestry.
somewhere deep down because I really like you ever the show Outlander?
Yeah, from the 90s.
No, it
Oh,
wasn't a
that's
book.
Highlander.
Highlander, but Outlander comes from Stars.
Oh, I don't get to watch TV, dear. I'm writing
Oh,
3.5 hours a night.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I do the live, and then until 10:30, I write.
Oh, okay.
Literally, just like you get off this and you go watch a Netflix show, then you get ready, and then you read, and then you go to bed. So we're just supporting each other between book reviewers and writers.
Right.
So we write at night, you read at night.
So how do you go and find your inspiration? Where do you go and get that at?
You mean the muse?
Mhm.
Oh, usually it depends on what I'm writing. So if I'm writing, uh, if I'm writing any violent scene, I listen to JT Money High Low. You know, when it hit it. You know, the one from 20 years ago.
Mhm.
Hit 'em high, hit 'em low.
Yeah.
I'll listen to that on repeat. If I'm editing, I'm listening to classical Green Day or Sum 41. If I'm writing a sex scene, I'm usually listening to Barry White. True story. Like if I'm writing a sex scene, I'll play Barry White on repeat. Um,
Nice.
Barry White just lights the mood for everybody. I don't care your race. Um, and you know, it depends. So my dogs, you know, usually they'll lay on me and I'll start writing. Um, you know, for the mood to strike me, I have to write. That's all I, you know, just like you have to read. It's an addiction. It's not
Right.
it. You literally have to set time aside now because of our schedules, and COVID kind of really messed that up.
Yeah.
So, what writer have you always wanted to meet that you have not met yet?
Um, I don't know. I know the one person that I really, well, there's two people that I really want to talk to. If I had like the chance to reach out to them, would be Keisha Irvin and Ashley Antoinette. For sure, the two people that I would want
They're easily reachable.
to
If
talk to. I know. I'm just like I'm nervous because
Mhm. We know, we know as writers, we know,
mhm
as you well know, we're all introverts in this, so it can be quite painful.
mhm.
And have you been to book signings before?
No, I was on my way to do one and COVID hit. I was on my way to St. Louis to
Who the hell's in St. Louis?
well it was like a book conference for like
Yeah,
all
who?
like Girl Have You Met or Girl Have You Read? It
Oh,
was
you're
gonna
talking.
be
Oh, okay. You're talking fantasy, romance writers.
yeah, but I've met Wahida Clark before, like
She
years
pretty. She
ago.
pretty. She
And
pretty badass, right?
yeah, I've met her and I've met Nikki Turner, like
I know
way
Nikki.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in Borders, they were doing a book signing, and yeah, those are the only two that I've met that I went and saw.
All right. So we're gonna keep in touch, and we're all gonna be at Detroit Hustle and Grind 2021.
Okay.
All right. All of your big favorites that you want, shy of
Hmm.
shy of Ashley and DeQuavis, because they don't really do a lot of signings. They're very busy flying in other parts of the country. But everybody will be up there. Me, Wahid will be up there. Kawan, all those folks will be up there.
Okay.
So yeah, you can roll up to Detroit if you fly out of the 757. It costs you $225 from Norfolk. What? Yes, round trip.
Yeah, but I gotta drive 3 hours.
Shit, it's better than flying out of Baltimore.
This is true.
That, and you
That's
get
true.
a direct flight from Norfolk. There ain't no connecting.
How do you say? I always say Norfolk, and like my friend is always telling me that's not how you say it.
Yeah, no, it's Norfolk. Yeah,
Norfolk.
yeah. Norfolk. Yeah,
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 I always
Norfolk.
say it wrong.
Yeah, that's how I say it.
Yeah, I
So
don't know how to say it.
yeah, yeah. So if you could you know, work with other reviewers, who are some of your people that you really love in the book reviewing slash podcasting community that you would love to collaborate with?
There's someone that I follow, Aries Reach Two. She
Mm-hmm.
posts a lot, and she does like visuals for the books that she reads. And so sometimes like I'll go off her recommendation, like other people that I follow, there's like other like promotional pages, and I'll like post, the book. I'm like, oh, this sounds good, and I'll go and like I'll read the book. That's how most of the authors that I interviewed, some of them like I reached out to because I read their books before, and then like new ones that I discovered off of other people's recommendations, and I just love their story.
Val King from Brown Sugar Reads is she's a really good book reviewer. So
Okay,
yeah, you should hit her up on DM. She does her own YouTube channel
okay,
with
definitely I have to do that.
you know, I don't know how it would be like it's a video review.
Oh, okay, I've watched those
Yeah,
before from some people. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They do like their top five or. of the year, I like to, do it at the end of the year because then it gets
Every single book she reads
hmm
is a YouTube video review.
Oh, then I'm gonna have to go check her out.
You need to go check out the Blood and Whiskey and Blood and Whiskey 2.
Then I'm gonna be DMing you and be like, "Yo, this is crazy."
There was one woman who said she was going to DM my wife on Instagram and be like, bitch, are you okay? Because your husband is demented and the code word is lipstick, bitch. Lipstick.
Damn.
And she had a hard accent. I love her. She's awesome. And we sat there and I was like, thank you so much, because that review was just awesome. So yeah, there are some YouTube ones floating around for DB Bray, the writer, out there doing his thing. So, what are the questions that you normally want to ask writers after you finish their books?
What gave them the inspiration to write it? What type of vibe do you set? Because I could always tell, depending on what the plot is, it has to be a specific vibe that you have to set. And so I'm always curious because I know what my interpretation of what I just read is, but sometimes it can be the opposite because you're the person that wrote the book. And so I always like to ask
The one thing that I do enjoy about you is that you're very easy and reachable. So with writers, do you seek them out to do a podcast, or can they actually hit you up and request a review and a podcast?
Oh, they can definitely reach out to me. I had two people that I interviewed who were on my list actually reached out to me first before I even reached out to them, which I thought was really nice.
And you just say Hood Delights podcast, and most people have heard of it. That in this community, they just kind of look around and go, "Yeah."
That's nice to hear.
Seriously, I mean, from a writing standpoint, I think I get asked a lot of what it's like to be a white writer in a black community, and I'm like, I write crime fiction. The color of my skin or your skin really doesn't play into effect. The only thing I don't do in my street lit is use the N-word. I just won't do it, even if it's not true to character. You can write a 1-star review. There's just things that are morally reprehensible to me that I won't do. So that's the only catch. And that when I love reading street lit from a black perspective, all the white people are bad. I've never read not one white good person in not one urban fiction book I ever wrote. They're either dirty cops, dirty lawyers, dirty jailers. There isn't one that I've ever said like that joined the crew.
You got to read Keisha Irvin, China Black series.
Keisha Irvin, what's the name of it?
Her China Black series.
China Black, I've heard about it. I think I'm going to try to get her on here.
Yeah, Carlos. He is my favorite white boy. He is my favorite lover out of all of China Black's boyfriends. He is my favorite.
And his name is Carlos.
Yeah, they call him Los. Yeah.
So there's nobody in there named like Steve.
No.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you just you don't see.
Oh yeah, no. There's any of like the white boys or the white girls in any of these urban books always have like a little bit of spice to them, like a little bit of flavor. Like no vanilla. There's none of that.
It would be nice to see a vanilla writer, or a character. That would be nice. I mean, just once.
Yeah, because a lot of the white girls, like my friend JC, she loves the books that I read, and she's read Mahita Clark's book, and she like loves it. So she's from Colorado, so she's not a city girl. So to read it, she's like, "Oh wow, this is different from the books that I read." She enjoys them.
Have you tried J.M. Benjamin's Memoirs of an Accidental Hustler?
No.
Put it on your to-read list.
I will do that.
One of the best books I ever read.
Okay.
Jamal Benson will live with me for the rest of my life. I can't read it twice.
I was one of those.
I cried like a fat ass white baby.
Well, you don't even give it to me so I can cry.
It is that good. It is that good. You look at it as
Okay.
a writer and you go, I got a long way to go.
Mm,
I got a real long, long way to go.
yeah.
But it's a fantastic book. Memoirs of an Accidental Hustler.
I'm gonna have to put that on my to-do
Yes.
and read it.
So for you, what do you think is the quintessential part, plot or character?
I need the plot. The plot. It has to make
So the characters don't matter as much to you as the plot does.
it really just it depends. Depending on what it's about. Because I like strong character development because I feel like without that, you don't have anything. But sometimes, like I read a book and the plot was trash, but one of the characters I just loved and I couldn't stop reading even though the plot wasn't that good. Like it didn't make sense. But the character development for this one person was just so strong that I couldn't put it down. So it really just depends on what the storyline
Who is your most hated character in literature of all time? Going into the file cabinet.
is. If I had to say one person, so I just finished, well, not just finished, but Keisha Irvin's book, uh, Cameron Gray, her finale, Guns, who I loved in the beginning. I loved him. And he just turned out to be a fuck boy. And like he finally like reached his demise. And I'm just like and I was just like waiting. I'm like, okay, when is he dying? He has to die. I cannot stand him and I used to love him. So he's probably my most heated right now. I'm pretty sure there's more if I like really sat and thought about it. But he's the first to come to
Favorite character of all time?
my favorite character of all time, I'm gonna go and say that it's gonna be Amit Harris from the Butterfly series. I actually am in it because I just love him, and I can't wait until December when the third one comes out.
Are you looking forward to Animal 5?
You know, I've never read any
Me
of
too.
his books. I've seen them, I always see them, and I've never read any of them.
None of the Animal series.
Yeah, none of them.
What other books have you read by Kawan?
I've never.
Oh, so
I've never.
if you're gonna start, Road Dogs.
Road Dogs. Okay.
One of
I
the
always see
greatest.
him. Yeah, I know he's like an OG. I'm like, oh, I'd rather read from a woman, and like, it's different. Because even Jaquavis's book, when I read The Streets Have No King, the tone is definitely different from when they write together. To me, because it's less romance and more about that action when he writes his solo book. And I love it too. It's just different. I have to be in a certain type of mood
I think for me, Kawan's book Road Dogs started my literary career.
is that what made you like, oh,
Oh, without a doubt, the greatest writer of all time is Kawan Foy. Um,
mm-hmm,
there are some people now that are running up there that are really good.
mm-hmm,
Wahid Clark, of course, is fantastic. I'm a big fan of J.M. Benjamin, Ty Marshall, 80s Baby, When Crack Made Kings.
yeah,
C.N. Phillips had a really good series. You ever heard of that one? She's under Carl Weber's banner.
oh, okay, no,
Yeah,
I never heard
C.N.
of it.
Phillips. She did like a Godfather kind of thing. Um, I don't know, Tremina Caruth out of South Central Los Angeles. This is the Life. She was fantastic. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a lot of indie women. Janae Marie is a rocker. I love Janae's work. I read a lot of women indie, black
Yeah,
women indie. I don't really read white women indie, but that's because I'm kind of in my genre and I need to know my genre.
Right.
Because, you know, most of my supporters are black, you know.
Right.
How can I how can I not support? I mean, that's kind of messed up.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, but you know, real quick, how do people get on the podcast? Where do they hit you up in DM? How does that work?
Yeah, you can DM me. I'll answer. In my bio, I have my email address, so you can do that. You know, if you want me to read your book, if you want to come and review another book together, I'm open to talk about all things books. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we need to do one. You ain't have to read my work. I just want to come on and show love to
You
the
wanna-
podcast, and we can do one
Oh,
together.
definitely.
It don't mean shit. You know, that's the best part. Like, you know, that's not the requirement to come on this show. I don't have to read your book. You can come on the
Right.
show. So any writers that you know that want free exposure, that want to come on the show, all they have to do is fill out the contact form in my bio.
Nice. I will pass that information along.
Absolutely. Before we close out, can I get an ooh wee?
Okay, let's see if I can do it.
Come on, girl.
Ooh wee.
Yeah. Think about them books. Ooh wee. That was
I love
so
it.
romantic. It works so many different ways.
It does. Now that you said that, now I can get it out of my head now.
You can. Now just go and read. Go and read.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to jump off real quick. But I just wanted to say thank you for coming on the show. I was really looking forward to this one over the last month. You know, you've been in the corner since the beginning, so I really appreciate that.
No, thank you for inviting me. I
No,
appreciate it. This was so much fun.
yeah, absolutely. And we'll do the podcast soon. Just hit me up on, I'll just send you my personal email, and then you and me can touch base from there.
Okay, nice. You enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Later. Okay, so that was Nia from Hood Delights. So, just to let y'all know that the show is now sponsored by Mobilo business cards, and Mobilo is a electronic business card, uses EFS technology, and basically during COVID, if you're a business person or you're a writer or anything like that, basically you take this business card. You can find the link in my bio. It'll bring you directly to their site. It's $8 for their card, and then you can get your own custom card for your business or anything you want for $40. So what you do is you tap that to somebody's iPhone, somebody's Galaxy, and basically it will transfer all of your contact information into their phone. So, like, I know, Janae, you got a clothing store. Load all that stuff, like Janae's Closet, load all that stuff on there, tap somebody's phone with it, and all of it uploads. In fact, you could do it just right there. It's the new thing for the clubber and you. You can go and download your number into somebody's phone without ever having to yell or scream in their ear. So that works too. So this is D.B. Bray, the writer, at the Ooh Wee Chronicles. I'll see you next Monday. We'll have a show.